This episode of the Young Turks brought to you by Squarespace.
Sarah Palin and American history. I don't care that Sarah Palin doesn't know anything about American history. In fact, I love that she doesn't know anything about American history. But what I love more about Sarah Palin not knowing anything about American history is the zeal with which Sarah Palin defends her lack of knowledge about American history. Because it's very clear that Sarah Palin took, ever since she made the first mistake about Paul Revere, has taken a significant crash course in American history, and she still doesn't get it. All she needed to do was answer a 1-minute question, and she still can't do it. I remember back in after '08, and sitting here at this table, I think we had this table, maybe it was the old table, with Michael Schur and Cenk talking about Sarah Palin's political future, and Michael and Cenk telling me that she was done, she had no future, and I was insisting that's crazy talk, don't count her out. I still maintain that. But I think I still was very wrong about one thing, is I thought the way that Sarah Palin would survive was if she took things seriously and she sort of hit the books, because she's incredibly charming, she's attractive, and she's very likable. And I'm not talking to the people who hate her. I'm saying that abstractly, she's likable, she's pleasant. The hockey mom thing, we can make fun of it, but it's real. And if she sort of boned up, then who knows? But here's the thing, I don't think she can bone up, because here she clearly did bone up and she sounds like a moron.
It appears Sarah Palin may need to brush up on her American history. She visited the Old North Church today here in Boston, the focal point of Paul Revere's historic ride, but it sounds like she got a bit confused on the details.
He who warned the British that they weren't going to be taking away our arms by ringing those bells and making sure as he's riding his horse through town to send those warning shots and bells that we were going to be secure and we were going to be free.
Okay, whatever. All right, so we know she gets that wrong. Okay, so then she goes on Fox News Sunday and Chris Wallace says, okay, look, you know you blew that story, and gives her a chance to right the ship. And Sarah Palin steers the ship into an iceberg.
You realize that you messed up about Paul Revere, don't you?
You know what? I didn't mess up about Paul Revere. Here's what Paul Revere did. He warned the Americans that the British were coming, and they're going to try to take our arms, so we got to make sure that we were protecting ourselves and shoring up all of our ammunitions and our firearms so that they couldn't take it. But remember that the British had already been there, many soldiers, for 7 years in that area, and part of Paul Revere's ride, and it wasn't just one ride, he was a courier, he was a messenger, part of his ride was to warn the British that were already there that, hey, you're not going to succeed, you're not going to take American arms. You are not going to beat our own well-armed persons, individual private militia that we have. He did warn the British. And in a shout-out, gotcha type of question that was asked of me, I answered candidly, and I know my American history.
Gotcha's back. A gotcha type of question. So she had her talking points. She's like, the British have been there a number of years. Some of them have been there 7 years, so she got that from whoever taught her some history lessons over the past 36 hours. And then Paul Revere, he made a number of rides. She was like, it wasn't just one ride, and he was a courier, he was a messenger. All this stuff she obviously just learned. Paul Revere, man, like you don't have to be, like I was an American history major, I don't know a lot about American history. I've forgotten more than I know. I'm not a Paul Revere expert. I don't know exactly what he was doing, but I don't really pretend to. And by the way, if I'd been at the Old North Church, I don't know, I read a couple things. I know basically that what he was doing was warning the future Americans. He was warning the rebels, okay? That's what the British are coming means. And when Paul Revere wrote about it later, what he had done in his effort to basically warn like Sam Adams and John Hancock was that in his ride, he was trying not to be detected by the British. That was the point of the ride. He wasn't shooting guns and ringing bells.
If you want to build a website or a blog, where do you go? You go to squarespace.com.
Squarespace just pushed a brand new social widget for geolocation services. Display your most recent check-ins from Foursquare, Gowalla, and Facebook Places on a live Google map. Go to squarespace.com/TYT and get a 2-week trial for free.